Join me as we light our chalice this morning with the words found in your order of service. We gather
this hour as people of faith, with joys and sorrows, gifts and needs. We light this beacon of hope, sign of our quest for truth and meaning, in celebration of the life we share together.
It's time now in our service to take some time to look inward. So settle in, get comfortable in your chair, with your feet on the floor. Take a deep breath, exhale, and listen to these words by Deepak Chopra, paraphrased from his book, Creating Health, after which we will take a few minutes for quiet reflection. We cannot evolve if our minds are closed. This is because we use our minds to evolve. No new knowledge can exist unless a pathway opens for intelligence to flow through. Open-minded people are simply in the habit of opening new channels. They accept rather than fear that they will find something new in the world. A discovery that really challenges their prejudices and thus overturns their saber idols. When intelligence finds a new channel, then more of life flows through us. Bad habits are just worn-out ruts of the mind, paths that once led to freedom because they opened up new thoughts, but that now lead nowhere. All we have to do is look at the unhealthy minds of prejudiced people to realize that intolerance is toxic. It poisons human growth and makes it impossible for perfect health to flourish. Intelligence is like water. It has to keep running in order to stay pure. An innocent, inquiring, open mind is the prerequisite for healthy living. If you're open to new possibilities in your life, then that alone will give you access to those possibilities. Readiness is all. Take a few moments now and ask yourself, are there places where my mind is closed? Where it is beginning to open? Am I open to new possibilities? May we all become aware of and open to new possibilities in our lives. The day, Palm Sunday. The place, the Sunday morning worship service at a congregational church. That is the day that I came out of the closet. For years, I had known that I was a closet heretic. And that day, I put it out there for all to see. I stood in front of the congregation on Palm Sunday, no less, and announced for all to hear, I do not believe in the bodily resuscitation of Jesus. And what's more, I don't believe in the virgin birth either. I remember in particular the reaction of one man as I was greeting people at the back of the church that day. Most of the people were rather politely non-committal. I don't think they knew quite what to do with it. But this one man, a visitor at the church that day, said to me, "That's the first time I heard something that made sense in church." He made my day. Heretic. The word actually comes from the Greek word meaning to choose. Heretic is what they call you when you choose not to believe in the dogma of the church. That's a label that I proudly claimed for myself that day. I had been on a long journey to get to that place. I was brought up Roman Catholic, went to Catholic elementary and high schools. In my younger days, I was a good little Catholic girl. In college, I met a young man who showed me that there was another way, and it was all right. I gradually evolved from Catholicism to Protestantism. One of my first acts of defiance of authority was when we married outside of the Catholic Church. That was a big deal in my family. As far as my father was concerned, I was making a choice that I had no right to make. Religion fascinated me. And after my children were grown, I went to seminary, and I was even ordained to the Christian ministry. I was a reverend. You'll notice I no longer use the "rev" in front of my name these days. It no longer fits in the way that it was intended. I had more growing to do. I didn't know where I was going, but I was open to new possibilities. I found a discarded book at a library book sale entitled "The Way Called Heresy." It was written by Henry Holland Sanderson, a Unitarian minister. I didn't know who he was or what it was about, but I knew that book was for me because I saw myself as a heretic. In this book, I learned that being a heretic is not a bad thing, but a very good, desirable, and essential thing. It is through heresy that we grow. It's making a choice to see new possibilities. And now with pride, I claim my identity as a heretic. It led me here to this place, open to new possibilities, Unitarian Universalism. I have found here a place where I am encouraged to grow. We all need to be open to new growth, because when you stop growing, you stop renewing yourself, and you die. I don't know about you, but I'm not anywhere near ready to die. There is so much out there to learn, to experiment with, and to experience. So go for it. Here, I found a Buddhist meditation group, and in that group, I am learning about the teachings of the Buddha. Do I now call myself a Buddhist? No way. But I am learning a lot about the teachings of the Buddha. I might even call myself a follower of the Buddha. I no longer call myself a Christian either. But I continue to call myself a follower of Jesus. One of the things that we come back to over and over again in meditation group is awareness. Right, Ken? The goal of meditation is not to make you feel good, although it does do that. The goal of meditation is to feel what you are feeling, to be aware. Now, there's no shortage of dogmas out there. They're not limited to religion. They're all around us. They are any belief system that you hold dear, that you accept as true, and are unwilling to challenge. I was brought up to not question authority. It was hard for me to break away from that. Now, I respect authority, but at the same time, I have learned to question it. I have a quote from Ralph Waldo Emerson, framed and hanging on the wall in my living room, right behind my favorite chair. It reads, "A foolish consistency is the hobgoblin of little minds. With consistency, a great soul has simply nothing to do. Is it so bad to be misunderstood? Pythagoras was misunderstood, and Socrates, and Luther, and Copernicus, and Galileo, and Newton, and every pure and wise spirit that ever took flesh. To be great is to be misunderstood." I love that quote. I find in it encouragement to be myself, to become more, to take chances, to grow, to continually renew myself and my belief systems. And if I'm misunderstood in the process, so be it. I think Steve Jobs put it very well when he said, "Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Don't be trapped by dogma, which is living with the results of other people's thinking. Don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your own inner voice. And most important, have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become." And that brings us around to Snoopy. Well, you're probably wondering why Snoopy is up here with me today. If you're not, you should be. After all, who brings Snoopy to church with them? I think some of you I told this story to before, but it bears repeating. See, it all started back in 1998 when I had endometrial cancer, a hysterectomy, and 5 weeks of abdominal radiation. Now, I was not about to roll over and play the game according to the radiation doctor's rules. At the initial interview, for all intents and purposes, he ordered me to have diarrhea. You have abdominal radiation, you get diarrhea. End of story. As far as he was concerned, the only question was how bad it was. Friends told me war stories about how terrible it would be. Maybe, I told him. He continued to insist. "We'll see," I said, and I dropped it at that. The doctor didn't know it, but I had a secret weapon. I had my mind. And the mind is a powerful thing. I had guided meditation tapes from the Monroe Institute called Positive Immunity. The goal was to use the mind to enhance the body's immune system. I use those tapes every day to help my body mend the damage that his radiation was doing to my intestines. It worked. I never got diarrhea. In the guided meditation, I was guided to image what my T cells, the cells in my immune system, looked like. And what I saw was, you guessed it, the zany, dancing dog named Snoopy. I never told the doctor about Snoopy. He had all he could handle with the fact that I had used my mind to mend my body and avoid his dire prediction of diarrhea. I don't think I told you about Snoopy before either, but he's here today. Anyway, at the exit interview, the doctor came into the room where I was waiting, sat down with his clipboard and his papers, and without ever looking up at me, he said, "You have diarrhea." I said, "No." Without a moment's hesitation, he continued, "How bad is it?" I told him again that I did not have diarrhea. When he finally looked up at me, I proceeded to tell him about the meditation tapes and how I used my mind to enhance my immune system and heal my body. I never got to the Snoopy part. As it was, he became very angry, got up, and shouted at me, "What is this, some kind of cult or something?" And he stormed out of the room, slamming the door behind him. And that was the end of the exit interview. Heresy. That's what I was up to. I was a heretic, again, and proud of it. I was choosing to be open to a different possibility. I was challenging the established medical system. Oh, I used the system, having surgery and radiation to heal my cancer. But that's where I drew the line. I didn't need diarrhea to make me well. A lot of people think I'm a little crazy when I try to tell them that you can use your mind to heal your body. I've tried twice now to loan the positive immunity tapes to friends who are having serious physical problems to help them get through the side effects of medical treatment. In both cases, the reaction was a polite thank you, but no thank you. Well, actually, they did take them and return them to me unused. And that's all right. At least I offered them a choice. Well, over time, Snoopy got pushed aside. He actually took up residence in my basement for a long time, right alongside the exercise bike and the treadmill. He was sitting down in the dark, patiently waiting to be called upon again. This month I brought him back upstairs and gave him a seat of honor in my living room. He was even part of the Soul Magics group, the group that meets at my home once a month. Now I want you to recognize that this is not your ordinary, generic Snoopy. This Snoopy is a court jester. The wise fool, taking the side of the common people in order to curb excesses of the ruling system without ever trying to overthrow it. His purpose is not to replace one system with another, but to free us from the shackles of all systems. Don't be bound by somebody else's rules, but don't totally discard them either. Don't be so enamored by your own insights that you blind yourself to other possibilities. It's not either or, it's both and. This month I was diagnosed with basal cell skin cancer on the side of my face. Tomorrow I will have Moore's surgery to remove it. I'm working with the medical system and taking advantage of all that they can offer. In the meantime, I brought out those positive immunity tapes that Snoopy and I have been working to build up my immune system. Part of the process is to ask your immune system what you can do to help it. Walk is the answer. My imaginary dog, Snoopy, the court jester, the wise fool, wanted me to take him out for a walk. He wanted me to take him out so that others could see him. He wanted to come here today, so here he is. Snoopy has his own chair in my living room now. He sits there as he sits here, as a reminder to be aware of the possibility and the power new thinking. If you come to my home, you'll see that I'm an interior decorator. By that I mean, I put on my walls words and pictures that radiate from my soul. On the wall across from my favorite chair, in big red letters, is the word smile. Smile, try it. When you smile, somehow it radiates well-being throughout your whole body. It feels good. The newest addition to my wall is a poster of a dancing Snoopy that for years I had out in my garage. It says, "Be yourself. Nobody can tell you you're doing it wrong." Oh, they might try, and they will try, but do it anyway. Dance and have fun. Be yourself. I'm learning to see things differently, to be open to new ideas. I'm learning to be aware of possibilities. Most importantly, I'm learning to listen to what my body is trying to tell me. So every morning when I first wake up, I take some quiet time, some quiet meditation time, to scan my body, to scan my mind and my spirit. I take time to turn off the computer of my mind and restart it renewed. It's become important to me to take time for some kind of spiritual practice every day. My good friend Mary is Catholic, and she starts her day every day of the week by going to Mass. That's what works for her. After that, we go together to exercise 5 days a week, and often talk about how important it is for us both to start the day with a spiritual practice. For her, it is the Mass. For me, it is meditation. You may find some other form that works for you. Don't have the time? Gandhi said that the busier he was, the more important it was to take time to meditate. He claimed to be able to accomplish more on a busy day when he set aside 2 hours of meditation time. 5 or 10 minutes at the start can work wonders. I'm a work in progress. We're all works in progress. This is where I am today. What the future will bring is yet to be seen. The important thing is to be open to new possibilities. Wow. I can't wait to see what happens next. My family must see. I don't know where we're here. My family must see this in me. They gave me these Wild Women pins I can wear proudly, and a notepad that says, "Pretending to be a normal person day after day is exhausting." And inside there's a quote by William Shakespeare. "This above all, to thine own self be true." Tending to your spiritual body daily is just as important as taking care of your physical body. Maybe even more important. We shower or bathe to wash off the dirt that we pick up during the day. We watch what we eat, we exercise. But how much attention do we pay to what we feed our mind and spirit? Violence on TV and in the movies, and then video games that we or our children play. Violent stories that we're exposed to. They all affect your spiritual body. How much time do you spend cleansing that spiritual body? How much time do you spend exercising your spiritual body? I believe if not cared for, a sick spirit will manifest itself physically. With awareness, mindfulness, attention to what's going on around us, we can stay healthy, physically, mentally, and spiritually. Body, mind, and spirit, they are one. Now, if all of this sounds to you like some kind of new age mumbo jumbo, well, Maybe in a way it is. I believe we need to think in new ways. I believe we need to pay attention to how our mind and our spirit are affecting our physical body. I love my Snoopy dog. I found him inside of me, calling out to me to pay attention. Come out and play. Snoopy and I are dancing together to make a better me. Snoopy's message is to be yourself. He can be a symbol for our faith. How we behave, dancing and being ourselves, is more important than what we believe. Do you have a Snoopy inside of you? Probably not the same as mine. But I believe there is something there calling out for your attention. Your spirit needs your attention. Be aware and be open to new possibilities. I really like some of the things that Steve Jobs wrote. He broke the rules and brought innovation to our world. I'd like to close this morning with another quote from him. Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them, but the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They push the human race forward, and while some may see them as the crazy ones, we see them as genius. Because the ones who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. So here's to Snoopy. Here's to possibilities. Here's to renewal. Here's to going out and changing the world. So,
Join us for worship every Sunday at 10 a.m. at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Canandaigua, a welcoming congregation. We are located at 3024 Cooley Road, 4 miles west of South Main Street, Canandaigua, just north of the intersection with Routes 5 and 20. Look for the blue signs just before the turn. Your comments about this program or questions about the church are welcome at 585-396-1370 or at our website, www.canandaiguauu.org. Producer and editor, Daniel Brigham.